Hey everyone, Dave here. We're back again at Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today I'd like to go ahead and practice doing some takeoffs and landings today, which is commonly known as touch and goes. This maneuver is not a common maneuver among the modern airlines of today. If we do want to practice takeoffs and landings, we usually do it in a simulator, not in the actual aircraft. And this procedure is not commonly practiced among the airlines as well. If we do takeoffs and landings, it's usually where we do the landing, we come to a full stop, and then the sim instructor repositions our position back on the final approach, so we don't really do the takeoff again. But the manufacturers like Boeing and Airbus, whenever they do their certifications, they actually do these maneuvers. And I'd like to try this out today, and I found a image on Facebook through various Airbus fanatics pages, and I found this image, and it detailed just this exact maneuver of doing touch and goes. Um, we'll look over it next, and we'll get into the cockpit, and we'll go have fun and do several laps in the pattern. And I hope you enjoy and learn something today. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the diagram right now. Okay, folks, here's the diagram I wanted to share with you. Again, I found this on Facebook through an Airbus fanatics page or post or something like that. And I saw this, I was like, yeah, that looks really interesting. And I'm not sure if it's like official Airbus document or something like that, but just my disclaimer here, this is not for real world use. This is just for personal simulator use if you wish to practice this or not. But and also it's not approved for any kind of airline use as well. This is purely for entertainment purposes only. Okay. That's the one disclaimer that I have. But if you look at it, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you are a pilot, you can easily understand this. But basically, what it's saying for those who are not pilots and just sim pilots and want to practice this yourself, you do the normal takeoff as usual. You can do it at flaps 1, flaps 2, or flaps 3 if that strikes your fancy. I think flaps 3 is kind of excessive, and I don't think it's really necessary. But you can do it if you want to practice a flaps 3 takeoff. But you do a normal takeoff for the first takeoff if you start from the ground. And you go now. If you do a toga takeoff, it's same normal takeoff. If you do a flex takeoff, it's the same. However, the only difference is if either one that you choose, you do not retract the flaps completely. You always stop at flaps 1. So if you do a flaps 3 takeoff, you get to F speed or above, you go to flaps 1, and you keep it there. You don't go to flaps up if you're going to stay in the pattern. If you do a flaps 2 takeoff, same thing. You get up to F speed or above, you go to flaps 1, and you keep it there. You do not retract the flaps. Now here's the thing, you do have to remember that you do still do the after takeoff flow, which includes disarming the ground spoilers, and it's very important. And here's why: is because if you do decide to do a touch and go, and you forget to disarm the ground spoilers, they will deploy. And that's something that you don't really want to fiddle with while you're rolling down the runway trying to get the ground spoilers to go down in order to execute a takeoff again. And it even says in the note here, for touch and goes, no spoilers, which is the ground spoilers, no reverse, or reverse thrust, and no auto brakes. You don't arm those as well. So you take off, you get to 1,000 feet AGL, you actually pull your heading bug or your heading knob to go to heading mode, and whenever you get to 1,000 feet AGL, which could be your acceleration altitude, it could not be. It depends on what you prefer to do. If you want to do 1,000 feet for the thrust reduction or 1,500 feet, it doesn't matter. But 1,000 feet AGL, you start turning into your downwind leg for your heading bug. And for these notes here, 8 degrees pitch nose up, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it during this this portion of the profile. I think that they may be talking about, let's see, 8 degrees pitch nose up, 25 degrees. Now the 25 degree bank, that is important because you want to make sure that you're not too close to the runway whenever you're into your downwind leg. So you don't want to do these pattern turns at like 45 degrees of bank. That's ridiculous. But it's saying 25 degree bank on turn to be 2.5 miles abeam from the runway, which is that would be 2.5 miles. On downwind, F speed, like I said, to flaps 1. So whenever you get to F speed or above, you can retract to flaps 1 if you're taking off at flaps 2 or flaps 3. Now it's saying here at the whenever you do the airplane or the autopilot does the altitude capture lever climb, N1 lever MCT, you activate the approach. I don't think that's certainly not required to do it at this point of the profile. Obviously, if you're a sim pilot and you're just doing this for entertainment purposes, that's a lot to do. Trying to fly the airplane and making sure it's going where it's going, to be heads down and trying to activate the approach. I would wait until you're at least around this part of the downwind, to activate the approach. So you reach 1,500 feet AGL. That's where we start to turn off the autopilot, the flight directors, and the auto thrust, and you go to the FPA mode of the autopilot on the FCU, which is where the autopilot modes are on the glare shield. You continue your downwind leg, and it even gives you a little bit of a hint here if you're flying CFMs. And I believe this may be actually for the Neo aircraft. I don't know, A340. I don't think that this applies, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know where this diagram came from. But as far as, again, see flap 0, you wouldn't be at flap 0 if you're doing a touch and go. This doesn't make sense. Now, if you're doing a visual approach, yeah, you could be at a flaps up condition if you're coming from a different airport and you're landing. But I don't know why they have a flap 0 N1 setting on this diagram. But certainly you would be at flaps 1. And your N1, it's saying roughly about 58% on the gauges. And here, whenever you're abeam, your landing threshold, that's whenever you start a timer, and you have one easily available there on the glare shield right in front of you. It's the chronometer. You start your time, and you wait 45 seconds to start turning your base leg. So we're starting to turn right back around to the runway again. And again, after that, you go to flaps 2, and you start slowing down as well. And you call for gear down, and then you also, you can, if you want to, you can bug runway heading if you want to. But again, like I said, single pilot, lots of things going on. It's really difficult to really kind of do all this and remember to do it all in a proper order if you're doing it all by yourself. If you have a partner or something like that helping you out, you could probably do this procedure to the letter. But if it's just you, If it's just you, doing this, I wouldn't worry about it, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. So, gear down, arm spoilers, except on touch and go. Again, like I said, if you're doing a touch and go, do not arm the ground spoilers. You keep that thing disarmed, and you do not arm auto brakes. Again, like I said, flaps 3, so we're still slowing down. We're still slowing down, trying to get down to our approach speed. And eventually, if you're doing flaps full landing, you call for flaps full. But if you're doing just a flaps 3 landing, you wouldn't call for flaps full. Um, and yeah, you do the landing checklist. Obviously, if you want to say it aloud, you can. But yeah, it's just like a normal landing, like you're practicing a normal landing. And of course, it's telling you final approach, V approach. Yeah, this kind of gives you a general guide as to what to expect. So if you're not using the MCDUs to give you an approach speed. These are general guidelines, especially for this. This is pretty important. So to maintain a 3-degree glide path, which is about 700, 800 feet per minute descent rate, and you're looking for a target in one of about 53%, maybe 50%. It all depends upon the winds and what your ground speed is, and looking for your pitch attitude about 2.5 degrees nose up. But again, that all depends on. I think these guidelines is based on winds being consistent and not changing. They could vary based on if the wind's changing and gusting and whatnot. So, but yep, and again, maintain visual aiming point at the middle of the windshield at 500 feet above ground. If not stabilized, go around. And then here it's telling you this is the most important part, the touch and go. You land the nose after the main gear. Of course, you don't want to land with the nose first and then the main gear. You want to land main gear first, then nose. And then it's saying flaps 2, but um, I don't think that's necessary. If you're landing flaps full, all you do is go to flaps 3, because I mean it's like a normal go around. If you're doing a touch and go, it's like a normal go around. And that the procedure for that is just you go to the next flap setting up after you go to toga. You go toga. If it flaps full, you go to flaps 3. If it's flaps 3, you go to flaps 2. But that's all you have to do is just go one notch of flaps up and go to toga power. But you go to flaps. In this case, let's say we're assuming we just did a flaps full landing. We go to flaps 3. We look down at the stabilizer trim and just make sure that the trim is within the green range. Whenever you look down, it may be in the green range, it may not be in the green range. But here's the thing, whenever you land the Airbus, it actually auto trims back into the green range if you give it enough time. So you may not need to move it. If you have a long enough runway, let's say you have a runway that's about 10,000 feet long or something like that, you have plenty of time for the Airbus, the plane itself, to auto trim. Now, if you have a runway that's pretty short, like where we're at Maui, um, you may have to actually move it physically into the green range. Just FYI. And also another thing is I wouldn't practice this on runways that are less than I don't know, say like 7 or 8,000 feet. If you get less than that, you're really rushing and trying to do all these things all at once, trying to keep the airplane on the runway while you're rolling down the runway at a great speed and executing a takeoff again with very limited length available. So I definitely wouldn't go no less than 1,000 foot length of runway, maybe even 8. Just with all that's going on, it's really tough to do. Now, like I said, if you had 2 pilots doing this, yeah, it's definitely doable to do something shorter, much shorter than that. But yeah, if you're doing this procedure single pilot, yeah, you need a pretty lengthy runway. So again, so you're doing that, and it says trim rudder trim 0. I've never really found the airplane being so out of trim to even really worry about this. So, I mean, you can look at it and check it if you want, but I never do. And I've never had any issue with any kind of touch and go with the rudder trim being completely out of whack. I think the only thing that you would possibly, no, never mind. No, you wouldn't. So, that note you may not have to really worry about. But here's the thing: if whenever you have your flaps retracted to to where it's supposed to be for the takeoff again, you have the stabilizer trim set in the green band range, and that now you're ready to initiate the takeoff again. Well, you got to remember you can't immediately go to toga. You want to go to 50% first to make sure that the engines spool up to keep it out of the keep out zone. And then once it's stabilized or really close to 50%, then you can immediately go to toga. And whenever you go to toga, the airplane's going to be still slightly close to V approach. It may have to accelerate a little bit to get up to V approach, but it's going to be really close to the bugs to where you need to rotate off the ground again. And then you just like a normal rotation, you could initially go to 10 degrees pitch up, and then you get off the runway, then keep pulling until you get up to about 15 degrees nose up, and you just do the process over again, rinse and repeat. Now here's the thing that I said about the what was it? It was the oh, I forgot what it was. I think it was about the heading bug. Yeah, I think it was about the heading bug. I don't see where it is on here. I thought I saw it somewhere. Oh yeah, runway track. That's what it was. Whenever you go to toga thrust, the toga detent, and it initiates the go around, guess what? The heading bug goes to your current heading. You don't have to turn it to the runway track if you don't want to. And that's why I don't turn it, because I know if I'm doing a takeoff again, I don't have to worry about spinning the heading to the runway heading, and I just leave it be, because you're not going to be following it. The flight directors are already off. You're just flying the airplane using the FPA presentation on the PFD, and yeah, it's not going to create any conflict uh, with the thrust. Well, even the auto thrust isn't even on at that point, so it's not going to really conflict with anything, except maybe if some reason it confuses you whenever you're on your base turn and you look down, you're like, wait a minute, the heading bug's the other way. Why is it? Well, you don't pay attention to that. You just keep looking at the runway and lining up with it to land visually. So at this point, you're doing again the takeoff or the go around again, or the touch and go, and you're pitched up to 15 degrees. You're climbing away, and again, since it's sort of, we're handling it sort of like a go around. There's two types of go arounds. There's a normal go around, which is you keep the toga thrust in, or you can do what's called a soft go around. And a soft go around is actually much easier for the airplane to manage things and keep and able to capture altitudes much easier. So that's what I always do. I always do the soft go around. The only time I use a full-blown toga power throughout the whole takeoff is if it's a single engine, conditions like that, where you're you're only have half the thrust that you normally expect to have. That's whenever I'd use toga thrust. Um, but even then, you'd follow in that instance if you took off again and you lost an engine immediately after the takeoff, then you'd be doing the single engine climb out instead of the two engine climb out anyways. Going to MCT and all that jazz. So yeah, you're pitching up to 15 degrees, and at any point, I think after you get off the ground, you can probably bring it back to climb thrust again to get out of that toga power, and just climb away just like a normal takeoff. You get up to 1,000 feet again, like right here, and then you spin your head, you pull the heading, spin it around until you get to your downwind leg, and rinse and repeat. You just keep going around and around and around as much as you like. And here again, it's saying check heading and vertical speed. I'm not really sure why you would check heading, vertical speed, because those are off. Modes are not engaged. So I don't know why it would even detail that. I'm not really quite sure. But anyway, so let's say we do touch and goes, like, I don't know, maybe 5 touch and goes, and then we're finally done. We're tired. We want to stop. So the only difference is for the full stop landing, obviously, we would want to engage the ground spoilers, use reverse thrust if we feel like it, and also arm the auto brakes for landing if we decide to use auto brakes for landing. But the key thing is the ground spoilers. These things here are optional. That is a must for every landing. And it's very important because it's again, it creates drag, it slows us down, but also gives the airplane more weight on the wheels so that it stays on the pavement a whole lot better, gives us more traction. So, but okay, so this is the diagram I wanted to share with you. If you want, you can take a screenshot of it, obviously with your phone or something like that, and share it amongst you or yourself and your friends. For the time that you want to practice doing touch and goes in the Airbus A320. Again, I don't know if this applies to the A330. I don't have an A330 in my hangar of virtual airplanes. So if someone does have an A330 and they want to try it, let me know, and let me know if this works out well for you. Okay, let's get back out to the ramp and hop in the jet, and let's go practice some takeoffs and landings. All right, folks, welcome back. So we went over all the what needs to be done regarding the traffic pattern and how we're supposed to conduct this maneuver appropriately. So let's go ahead and hop back into the cockpit here, and let's get this show on the road. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. Alright, so here we are in a cold and dark airplane. Everything's turned off. So, whoops, sorry about that. So, what we need to do first is turn everything on. As usual, you've seen it before. We turn the batteries on first, and that brings up all the displays and everything. Since we're not going to really be flying anywhere, I'll probably keep the payloads to the minimum, and I'll just give us with a whole lot of gas, so that way we don't have to worry about having a problem with running out of gas. So we got the batteries on. We do have a GPU hooked up to the airplane, so we can go ahead and switch to external power with that button. And that should bring up the displays here and warm everything up. Go ahead and recage or uncage and get the standby attitude indicator working. There we go. By the way, this is not the default Airbus in the simulator. This is the Phoenix A320 Airbus, and this product is very good. I think it's pretty accurate regarding how the Airbus operates. I have very, very little gripes about it. But let's see, while I'm talking here, I'm going to turn these on so we can get this thing warmed up. The flight characteristics, I think they're pretty pretty good regarding matching the real thing, the real Airbus. I can't really think of anything that I don't like about it. Maybe the sounds might need a little bit of work, but otherwise, as to it matching the actual thing, it's pretty darn close. Okay, so I just turned on our ADIRSs up here. They're starting to align. I'm going to go through the flow here to just get everything working. Do a fire test here just to make sure that that's working, as well as check the APU fire detection. That's working. And that's working too. Okay. Let's see. That's good. That's good. Turn that on. Turn that on. And that's good. Good. Clear that. I'm not sure why it's having a problem with the fuel pumps. Let's see if it's still there. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with that. Why is it in kilograms? That doesn't make sense. Maybe I need to go over here and fix that. Units. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that either. Here we go. And huh. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so save default. No. What? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I save? Okay, this is something that kind of bothers me. If I click save default, then why is it? I don't know. Did this go back? Yeah, it did. See it? Okay. Whatever. Let's see. Cabin visibility. Okay. This is very interesting. Yeah, I want brake fans. Nav and go around. Yeah. Don't really care about auto TCAS. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Okay. So go back to this screen. All right. So are we back? Whoop. Are we back in pounds? Yes, we are. Good. Okay. So I was up here. I started looking at this. This is not set correctly. I'm going to turn these off first. That's not set correctly. I want constraints on. Go ahead and set the local altimeter and let's see. For the what we just looked at, about 1,600 feet would put us 1,500 feet AGL for the pattern. So continue through this. Everything looks good there. Fuel. That looks normal. Hydraulics. We got good fluid levels. It's okay for now. We got oil. oxygen. Okay, that's good. These all look like they're set correctly. These all... Nope, that needs to be there. That needs to be there. That's okay. Alright, those are up. That's down. Okay, good. Alright, so now we can go in here and start programming the box. And again, since we're not going anywhere, we just put in our origination. We're right now at Maui. That's the Maui airport. And since we're only going to be doing takeoffs and landings, we just put in the same airport for the two as well. And cost index, I don't think it really matters, but I think you need to put in a value in there though for it to accept. And we just, you know, I just put 80. It doesn't matter. And the cruising altitude again, it'd be 1,600 feet. Flight number, that's not really important. I mean, you can put one in there if you want, but that's your choosing. So now, like I said, over here, I'm going to go and check, and yep, it does show that it is loaded with people. So I'm just going to reset all, and for the fuel here, let's see, there is a way. Oh yeah, here it is. I can just push that, and I can just bring the fuel numbers up. So let's see. I think about, yeah, let's do about 20,000 pounds. Let's see our what is it? See our max landing weight. What was? I think it's like 124. I think it is. So you know what? I'll just do 10. Well, let's put it 15,000. All right, if I can get it there. You know what? That's good enough. Okay, so we'll do that, and planned, load aircraft, instant, and bingo, we got 15,000 pounds. So now it's going to close the door, all that stuff, because it thinks that you know, we got passengers, cargo on board, stuff like that. So now I need to put in our zero fuel weight of 97.0 with a zero fuel weight center of gravity of 26.8. Okay, and we're planning to have 15.2 for the fuel. Let's see. Yeah, we could do 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, we can do the usual 45. Whoop. It's interesting. It doesn't like that 0045. There we go. Okay. And we don't need a route reserve because we're not going anywhere anyways. And so now we can build our flight plan. But again, like I said, we're not going anywhere. We're just going around in a pattern. So what we can do is we can select our departure runway of, I think the ones are favoring 02. And we're not going to use a star or a SID, so we can just go down here and do no SID and insert. And then for the arrival, we'll just only put the runway. And obviously it helps to use a instrument approach just for purposes of recognizing where you are on the glide path and lined up with the runway. So I'm going to just go ahead and put the ILS in there. And for the VIAs, I'm going to tell it no VIA because we're just going to be doing racetrack patterns. We don't need to go over a certain navigational fix to join the approach. We're just going to go, you know, make right-hand turns and go around and fly around the airport. Okay, so that's all set up as far as the routing goes. But we still need to go through here and set up the takeoff performance. And here we got our own calculator to figure that out. We have a takeoff, or I'm sorry, departure performance calculator here. And we already got 02, surface dry. We can tell it to do the flap config optional, or I'm sorry, not optional, but optimum. And I don't want to force it to use toga. This is Hawaii. I don't think there's going to be any ice. And then we'll leave the packs on, and we'll sync with the load sheet final, so it has our weights there. And I'm going to sync it with the current weather conditions as well. And from there, we can click calculate, and it will give us our performance data of 117 for V1, VR 123, and V2 of 123. And we're going to take off with flaps 1, and that's fine. That'll work. With a stab setting of up of 0.5, up 0.5. Insert that there, and we're going to be doing a flex temperature of, what is that, 68? Yeah. So, 68 degrees. Okay. The thrust reduction altitudes look fine, 1,000 feet, that's good. And we don't need to worry about climb. We can put a pre-select in. That will probably help as far as the doing the pattern. And I believe we don't want to go any faster than 200 knots for sure, but we can put something a little bit less. I think something like 190 works really good, and you'll see why once we get airborne. Okay, cruise, we don't need to worry about that. Descent, we don't need to worry about that. We can go ahead and input this data while we're just sitting around not doing anything, because eventually it's going to ask for it, and we need it for landing anyways, and we only need to input it once. So we'll exit here, go to arrival performance, and we can just do apply METAR, and winds are 020 at 6. 020 at 6 for the winds. The temperature is 24 degrees. And the altimeter setting is 2998. So whenever we do our landing and we touch down and then we clean up, we do one notch of flaps up and go to toga power to initiate the takeoff again, this data will still be saved in the box, so we don't have to continuously input it. We only have to put it in once, which is very very convenient. And so for the if we want, we can put the baro altitude in there. Let's just do that just for fun. Let's see. PHOG. Why is it doing that? PHOG. I guess it doesn't like going fast. Okay. So there's that. Approach. We're doing this one. Okay. And altitude 275. So I put 275 right there.
100 above minimum.
And it will do that. That's normal. Don't be worried about that. Okay, so we go ahead and turn on. It looks like we're all aligned, so we can turn the flight directors back on. Have that ready. And from there, we can go ahead. If we want, we can copy to the secondary our whole flight plan and data, and just for backup purposes. And then from there, we're good to go. We're ready to push back and start up. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to be using ATC just because it's a tedious process of talking to them and getting clearance to land and whatnot. And even then, like their handling of other air traffic and sequencing them with us to not be of a conflict, it doesn't work very well. So we'll just do the see and avoid mantra of things, and we'll just if someone gets in front of us or whatnot, we'll just go around and just come back around again. Let's see. I want to go to this just to get rid of this message because I'm a control freak and I don't like messages forever popped up saying, "Hey, look at me." Okay. So there's that. I'll go to the perf page. Actually, I should have that over here and have flight plan over there. Okay. Turn on the ground proximity display, and I like to turn these down. Again, I don't know why these developers, they like to make the screens so flippin' bright. I don't understand that. They make them so bright that you can't even see the flight director bars. They're just very difficult to see. Okay, so we got that set up. Now we're ready to do our normal for start flows, checklist stuff. Go ahead and turn the beacon on. Oh, we need to start the APU. I forgot about that. Yeah, start that. Wait for it to start. So again, like we discussed before, we're never going to bring the flaps all the way up. We're going to keep it at least down to flaps 1. Now, if you want, you can do the first takeoff in flaps 2 or flaps 3 if you want. But yeah, you never, whenever you're staying in the pattern, you always keep flaps, the flaps down 1 notch. So since we're doing a takeoff in flaps 1 anyways, and that means that we just never bring them up. We just leave them down. All right, we're almost started with the APU. And there it is. Okay, we can kill the ground power. Turn on the air bleed, and we can go ahead and set us up for pushback. Ground services, let's get rid of the chocks, get rid of the GPU, and connect tug. Here for the switch, we're blowing for the air, and we're about ready for towing. We do have the steering disconnect. So that's the 3 things that we definitely need for pushback, for successful pushback, and also the parking brake off. But we'll do that right now. Okay, and we can start our pushback. Start. Okay, we're heading back, and it looks like we're clear of everything on the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this knob to start, and then we flip the switch to start 1. I don't know why I feel like my eye position is really tall. Whoa, whoa. No. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, it's a good start in engine 1. I'll start engine 2. And, oh, there's the runway right there. Okay. Why are the textures so bad here? It's weird. Okay. Let's see, so I think that's good. You can stop us right here, boss. Good. Turn the brakes back on. Brakes are set. Clear to disconnect. And is he moving away? There he goes. Okay. At this point, they'll be giving us a salute. I'll flash the lights at him to tell him, hey, sayonara, see you later. And got 2 good starts. Turn that back to that way. Turn the bleeds off. Turn the APU off. Check the status gauge. Normal, that's good. We go to flaps 1 for the takeoff. Arm the speed brakes. And since we're already here, right next to the runway, we'll go ahead and do the before takeoff flows and checks. And before we do that, we'll do the flight control check. There's up, there's down, there's left, there's right, and then we check the rudder, left and right. That's good. Okay, go ahead and go to auto brake max. We check, or we we set our stab trim for takeoff to up to 0.5, which is right there. We can go ahead and turn the transponder to TARA, turn on the wind shear protection, and we can go ahead and release the brakes and do the takeoff config check. Cabin I'm not worrying about because we don't have people on board, but yeah, that should be everything. We're ready to taxi over and take off. Okay, clear left. Whoop. Okay, clear left, clear right as far as I can see. Here we go. I don't know what the deal is with this. This looks horrible. What's up with all the textures missing? That's kind of odd. Okay, so we're here at the hold short line. No one's coming. Go ahead and turn our landing lights on. Landing lights on. Cycle the seatbelt signs, say that we're leaving. We should be okay to go. Go ahead and go back to my chart here. So, what we do, again, is we're doing a flex takeoff. We're not going to do a toga takeoff. We're going to keep it simple. Or try to keep it simple, and things will happen relatively quick. So we gotta be Johnny on the spot with knowing what to do. Okay, so we're going to take off normally, and again, once we get, let's see, how is it, to 1,000 feet AGL, then we start turning into the downwind leg. And we level off at 1,500 feet AGL for the downwind. And then at that point we turn off most of our automation, and we hand fly all the way back to the runway again, and do a touch and go. Again, with every touch and go, we're not going to be using the auto brakes, so we don't select anything over here, and we be sure that we don't arm our ground spoilers, this thing down here. So whenever we do take off, the only difference is we'll leave the flaps to 1, but we will disarm the ground spoilers. That's the only difference between a normal takeoff and what we're doing here. Okay, so let's go and let's do some laps in the pattern. Here we go. So, as normal, we spool up to 50% N1, let the engine stabilize, then we go to flex setting. There's climb, and there's flex. And there's 80 knots. V1 and rotate. Here we go. At positive rate. Gear up. And if we want to, we can engage the autopilot. And we can pull the heading. There's 1,000 feet. Start turning. Be a heading of 200 degrees approximately. We reached our acceleration altitude, so we go back to speed, or I'm sorry, to what is it called? Climb. I'm sorry, the climb D10. And as you see, this is why I did 190, is because for us to retract our flaps, our next flap setting, you know, we have to be below this 200 number. So I went ahead and just did 190 to be proactive about it. Okay, so we don't need to set our managed speed. We're not doing that just yet. But we're in the turn, and we're at 1,500 feet. And since we already have the speed pull to non-manage, we can go ahead and activate the approach. So we have that ready to go when we're ready to join the traffic pattern, or I'm sorry, the turn base into turn final for the approach and landing. Okay, so now we're established somewhat on the downwind leg, right? We can go ahead and turn off the autopilot, and we can go ahead and turn off our flight directors. We can turn on our LS buttons if we want to use the ILS. We go to FPA mode to bring up our flight path vector, and we're going to match what the auto thrust is doing, and then we disconnect the auto throttle, like so. And so we keep going until we're about, we're past the beam. So since I missed the timer, I'm going to do 30 seconds instead of 45 seconds. We just maintain this altitude and speed. And like I said, we need to disarm that. We're not going to use any auto brakes. And once the timer gets to 30 seconds, which is right about there, we are going to start our turn to the right. And we can go ahead and push to manage speed, which will bring us our approach speed. And we're below our flap retraction speed, so we can go ahead and bring flaps in. We keep coming around until...
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
I got it visual on the terrain. Don't need to worry about it.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
And bring it to flaps 3. Bring down the gear.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
I might just have to do the ground proximity override so it doesn't harp at us. Okay, so there's the runway. So we turned a little bit too early. That's okay. And we're below our Got flaps full, gears down, no ground spoiler, no auto brake. And once we get down to our pink
1,000.
caret there for our speed, we can set about 50%, which is a good approximation as to our thrust needed for our landing configuration here. So yeah, that's about right there. And then we just manually fly the approach down to the runway, just like we would in a Cessna 172. You know, whenever we're doing learning how to fly. All right, that's a little bit too much of the descent rate.
500.
Yep, it's telling us our ground spoilers are not armed. We know that. We want that to happen. The co-pilot would normally go up and cancel that for us, but I'm kind of busy right now and I don't want to reach up and get distracted. Oh, no, I'm getting a little bit too high.
100 above. Minimum.
Flight slope.
I'm on the pappies. I'm right
Flight
100.
slope.
where I need to be.
Flight slope.
40, 30, 20. Retard.
Okay.
Retard.
And we're down. Okay, we go up 1 notch of flaps to flaps 3. Make sure that the horizontal stabilizer goes back. It's not. There it goes. Okay, now we can go 50%. And then toga. There's VR, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. We can go back to climb detent. And we're not at our acceleration altitude just yet. We can pull the heading, there it is. Go up to flaps 1. Start turning as well. I'm not following the flight director bars, but it's just kind of hard to do because I don't have the autopilot on. Stop it. Yeah, turn that on. There we go. Yeah, it's a lot. As you can see, there's a lot to do. It's really difficult to do single pilot, but it can be done. And this
Terrain
time,
ahead.
all right,
Pull up.
I'm gonna override that.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Off. There we go. Okay, again, we're coming to our downwind leg. Might need to adjust a little bit for the winds. Probably heading at 210 for us would work out better. Alright. And again, so this is why I said you'd only have to do it once. All we have to do is pull the speed there and activate and confirm. And it's all back again. Okay, so we're established, so we can go ahead and turn off the autopilot again. We can go to FPA, turn off the flight directors, and then match and mash to get rid of the auto thrust. And we're a beam right there. Start the timer. 45 seconds. And again, like I said, if you have a favorite airport that you like to do this, it doesn't have to be here, it can be anywhere. Just the only thing I recommend is the runway be at least 7,000 feet long. If you do anything less than that, you run into a serious issue of you might actually run out of runway trying to do the takeoff again for the touch and go. Okay, we're past our 45. We can stop the timer. We can go ahead and push the speed in there for our approach speed and turn to the right. I know that the procedure says do not descend until you have the visual on the runway. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, but you know, some approaches, you know, they can have a steeper angle, so you might not have the luxury of doing that. But let's see, I'm going to go ahead and put our flaps to 2. And put the gear down, start slowing down. But in this case, I think we're okay, because I mean, I know we're staying clear of the terrain and obstacles here. Okay, flaps 3. Keep coming around. There's the runway. Okay, so we can kind of take out the bank angle a little bit. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit better approach here. And flaps full. Still, again, keeping the ground spoilers disarmed, as well as the auto brakes. We don't want those. We're not planning on doing a full stop. We're still going to do a touch and go and take off immediately again. Okay, coming up to our approach speed. And again, bring it back to about 50% on the N1 for the thrust.
1,000.
There we go. Yeah, that's looking much better. Probably going to bark at us again about the spoilers. That's okay.
$500.
Small corrections. Get a little bit high.
100 above.
A little bit slow as well.
Minimum.
Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow.
40, 30, 20, retard.
Okay. Touchdown. Bring the nose down. Flaps to 3. Bring the stabilizer. There it goes. Okay. It's being really slow. Alright, 50%. And toga. Let's ready to gear up. Bring the thrust back to climb. It's a soft go around. Alright, I'm going to go autopilot, heading. There's 1,000 feet. Start to turn. That's how it's done. Easy, right? Okay, so we can go ahead and pull the speed, even bring it up to 190 if we like. And again, activate, confirm. Again, see, everything's still there, so we don't need to change anything. We don't need to be heads down typing into anything there. I'm sure the tower is probably looking at us like, are they ever going to stop? But it's good practice. I think it's, you know, it's good to kind of learn how to be and control the airplane and all the different configurations all at once. Just a good way to get a feeling for how the airplane feels. Okay, so we're on the downwind leg again, so I'm going to turn off the autopilot. Turn off the flight directors. Go to flight path angle mode. And again on the auto thrust. Match. And match. And we are manually flying again. Yes, we are. We can start our timer. Let's see, the 55 seconds, I think that worked pretty well. And I think the reason why it's taking a little bit longer is because up here we do have a headwind. So it's kind of taking us a little bit longer to get further away from the runway. So we'll do the 55 seconds. That'll probably work better. It doesn't have to be 45 seconds. I think it's all based on winds. You know, to make sure that you're in the correct position to start turning. A little low. And I really find the Airbus compared to other airliners that I've flown, it's much easier to control. It's just, this airplane's just, it's really well engineered, and I really like it. It's going to be a hard decision to leave the Airbus to go to something else in my career. Okay, there's our time. Let's start turning right. And let's go to flaps 2. Push in the knob here to go to our approach speed. A little bit of a ballooning effect. Bringing the nose back down so we can get back down. No need to overcorrect. Get really crazy on the pitch. Just, you know, small corrections. Be easy, be gentle. Okay, we can put the gear down. Still a little bit high. There we go. Flaps 3. There's the runway. We can start our descent anytime. I'm going to wait a little bit. And then flaps full. And again, gears down, flaps full. No ground spoilers, no auto brakes. This will be a touch and go again. Getting a little bit high. We're at our approach speed, go about 50% on the thrust, maybe a little bit more, maybe 53. It seems to be wanting a little bit more than 50 for our weight. And I know I forgot to stop the timer. Don't worry about that, that's fine. Don't worry about that stuff. Just concentrate on flying the airplane.
1,000.
There we go. Just small corrections. Keep it nice and tight.
500.
I think we're losing tailwind here on final, and that's why the speed's bottoming out. And I'm losing
100
altitude so
above.
fast. Come on, go down.
Minimum.
Oh wow, we have
Light slope.
big tailwind. Maybe we need to turn the
Light
go the other
slope.
direction.
40. 30. 20. Retard.
Oh, this is gonna be firm. Ow. All right, flaps 3 again. Bring the oh, there it goes. Okay, 50%. And toga. Yeah, I'm gonna go the other direction. Okay, so there's rotation. We're off the ground. Positive rate. Gear up. I thought the winds were coming from the other direction. Okay, we can go back to climb, thrust. Turn on the autopilot. Pull the heading. Now, since we're going to be changing the runways, this changes things. This is going to be a good example here. Okay, so we're at acceleration altitude. Went to flaps 1, which is fine. And I'm going to turn us off to the right here, just keep us away of the mountains visually. I'd say probably about heading 50 degrees is good. So now we got to go down here and we got to retype everything now. So flight plan here for destination arrival. Okay, and we got an RNAV of 20. That's fine. We're not going to do it via, and we insert it. Okay, and let's see. Go to perf, and I think we can go ahead and polar speed here. Get up to 190. Activate, confirm. Yeah, and it still even brought it over, but this is going to be wrong. So I'm going to just go ahead and just put 206 knots, because clearly that METAR is not matching with what the simulator's doing. The winds are, we definitely have a tailwind landing. That's why it's been so difficult. Okay, so got that set up. And why is it not showing the approach on here? Maybe if I just sequence it to Web 2, that would probably be fine. See direct. There it is, Web 2. Radial in. Yeah, that's good. And okay, so now we're set up for that. And let's see, so we're still flaps 1, that's good. I can go ahead and let's see, we've already activated, right? Yeah, we've already activated. Oh yeah, the barrel, what's that? GPS 20. That is 400. Okay. So we can go ahead and turn off the autopilot. Whoop, wrong button. There we go. Autopilot's off. FTA. Turn off the flight directors. And we'll go ahead and go match and mash. And I'm sure we are well above our path here. Yeah, we're activated, so I can go ahead and push this back in for getting our approach speed. Yeah, we're below our flap extension speed, so we can go ahead and go to flaps 2. Keep it coming around. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's going to give us... Oh, sorry. Correcting. Yes, I know. Go ahead and kill our chronometer. There we go. Oh. See, the winds are definitely... coming from the southwest for sure. Man, they picked up a lot. Wow. What is up with that? Okay, there we go. So now we're going to turn left after the go-around, not right, because we're too close to that mountain on the right side. It's probably not a good idea to go that way. Yeah, see, we're way far away because we worked so much time on getting this approach set up for us to be landing in the other direction. Okay, so I'm slowly turning this way to join the runway. I see it right there next to the water, to the shore. Can wait on getting the gear down and stuff because it's just we're so far away. I need to slow down. Okay. Here we go. Now we're getting close. Alright, gears down. Start slowing down. Okay, go flaps 3. Start pitching down 2. We need to start our descent down to the runway. Flaps full. Again, no ground spoilers, no auto brakes. Adjust my camera here so I can see a little bit better. There we go, that's much easier. Okay, we're at our approach speed. We're a little high though. That green dot there that's on the altimeter, that's our path indication. So it's telling us that we're just about 50 feet high. So get down a little bit more, we can get closer to the glide path. Even the approach lights there, they're telling me I'm slightly high, which is fine. These winds are really squirrely. They keep going one direction, then the other direction, then the other direction. They can't really be very consistent here in Maui today. Okay, keep the
500.
descent coming on the
100 above.
Appies. Slightly high. Oh, lost a lot of airspeed there.
Minimum.
Then I gained a whole bunch of airspeed, or winds, I don't know why. But keep the descent going, keep those coming over. Again, there it is, it's bottoming out again, I don't know why.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Uh-oh. Alright, there we go. Alright, flaps 3. 50%. There goes the stab trim. Okay, good to go to toga. Back on the center line here. There's rotation. Whoa. Little stutters there. Alright, positive rate, gear up. Back to climb, detent, thrust, autopilot on, full heading. There's 1,000 feet. Now we're going to turn to a heading of 20 degrees since we're going the other direction. For acceleration altitude, go to flaps 1. Whew, there we go. That's a lot. A lot to do. Okay, we're leveled off. Go ahead and go to manual speed here. Pump it up to 190. Activate, confirm. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make this our last one. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the ground spoilers, or arm them, I mean. And I'll also arm the auto brakes to low. Last one. And since we're not going to have to worry about terrain at all, go ahead and turn off the terrain override. Get this back up so it's nice and pretty. Much for the downwind leg. Yeah, see the winds? Yeah, I don't understand these winds today. Alright, there we're at beam. Start the timer. I'll try the 45 seconds. See if that works. Oh yeah, we can get rid of the LS buttons because we're not using an ILS. Activate, confirm, that's good. Yeah, it's just really windy. Look at that. It just kind of a really windy day in Maui. Okay, there's our 45 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Oh, I forgot to go ahead and turn off the autopilot, turn off the flight directors, turn on FPA, and go ahead and mash, get rid of the auto thrust, and make our left hand turn. And I'll go ahead and go to flaps 2. Oh yeah, we can go ahead and push in the knob for our approach speed. Whoops, climbing up that balloon for the flaps coming down. Watch our airspeed. Okay, I can see the runway, so I can go ahead and start descending if I want to. So there's the gear, it's coming down. There's flaps 3. Yeah, flaps full. How are we doing? We're getting close.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit too preemptuous on the terrain awareness. Okay, come on, start a descent. I believe I'm a little bit high, so I'm going to keep the descent rate going down. Let's see, 940. Oh, it's not that bad.
1,000.
Okay, yeah, I'm low. Alright, there we go. Now I can see the approach lights. Man, this is just really squirrely on the winds here.
500. 100 above.
Oh, goodness. Wow.
Minimum.
Wow.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Alright. And touchdown. Reverser's coming out. There's 80. Yeah, manual braking. And take this next taxiway to the right. Whew. Wow. I think I should have picked another airport to do these touch and goes. Wow. Okay, go ahead and bring the flaps up. Disarm the spoilers. And of course, there's. Oh, okay, you left. Turn on the APU. Turn off the landing lights. Turn off that. Turn off the TCAS. And let's see, we'll just park at the same gate that we did before. I wonder if I can get the marshaller to show up. Nope, I can't. Darn. Okay. Okay, APU is turning on. Turn off the taxi lights. Okay, good. The AP's on. All right. I'm just going to guesstimate where I need to stop, since I don't have someone to tell me when to stop. I think I was about getting close. I think it was about right here. Right around here. That's good. Alright, brakes on. Turn off the seatbelt sign. And we can shut down engine 1, shut down engine 2. Beacons off. Fuel pumps off. And AP bleed on. And that's it. That's bringing the jet bridge over for me. Oh, thanks. So, I hope you enjoyed our few laps in the pattern here at Maui. I hope you learned something, and feel free to try this if you want to get your landings in for the Airbus A320. It works both for the Neo and for the previous older Neo, or I'm sorry, the previous Airbus A320s as well, the older ones before the Neos, and yeah, that works really well. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial slash entertainment video from me, Dave, and see you again next time. Take care.